The first thing I heard was a woman screaming. The second was a police officer pounding on my front door. When I opened it, the cold shock hit me all at once. 2 patrol cars lit up my yard with flashing red and blue lights. Neighbors peeked from their porches, whispering. And there, in the middle of my driveway, stood Barbara, waving a stack of papers like she was declaring war. "He's refusing to leave my house," she yelled at the officers. "I'm a new owner. Arrest him." For a split second, I thought I'd woken up in some twisted dream. Behind me was my living room, my family photos on the walls, my dog barking from the kitchen. In my hand, the original deed with my name in bold print. All this madness started because I refused to give Barbara a copy of my house keys. You won't believe how it spiraled from a simple no to sirens and accusations. If someone had told me a year ago that my quiet suburban life would erupt into a legal nightmare with police, forged papers, and an HOA president acting like she owned the world, I'd have chuckled. But it all traced back to the day I moved into Oakwood Meadows. I bought the place at 45, a solid, cozy home at the end of a peaceful cul-de-sac. White picket fence, trimmed hedges, a garage perfect for my woodworking hobby. I work in IT security, a job that pays the bills but leaves you yearning for calm and order. Oakwood Meadows seemed ideal. Tidy streets, friendly folks, a welcome sign promising a serene community. What it didn't mention was serene, as long as you didn't cross the HOA. I met Barbara at my first community meeting. She strode into the clubhouse in a bright yellow jacket that could stop traffic, clipboard clutched like a weapon, her smile tight and voice sharp like a drill sergeant. Every word from her mouth included regulation, or sounded like an order. I pegged her right away, the type who treats HOA rules like holy writ. The early months were fine. I kept to myself, no trouble. But Barbara's eagle eye for rule breakers zeroed in on me fast. Her first email came 3 months in. Your trash bin was visible for 8 minutes post-pickup. Please comply with standards. 8 minutes? I just swept the garage. I replied politely and moved on, but it was just the start. Weeks later, grass by your mailbox exceeds the limit by 2 inches. I measured. It was 1.6 inches. Then, unapproved tool, rack visible from the street when garage is open. Because tool racks belong in garages. I didn't fight, but I saved every email, every PDF. In my line of work, documentation saves lives, or at least headaches. The real storm hit with Barbara's emergency access key program. Sounded harmless. Hand over house keys to the HOA for crises. Her email painted it as a noble safety push. You never know when help is needed. Participation shows community spirit. Then the veiled threat. Non-compliance may impact your status. As a security guy, red flags waved. Giving keys to amateurs? Reckless, illegal per our covenants. I scoured the CC and RS. No mention of keys, no penalties. Absurd. I replied, I won't provide keys. HOA lacks authority for private access. Barbara fired back in 18 minutes. I timestamped it. Disappointing refusal. Board will review. It smelled like punishment brewing. From then on, I was her target. The next newsletter had a snide section. Certain residents jeopardized safety. Everyone knew who. Neighbors gave odd stares. Some asked on walks, why not give the keys? Hiding something. I smiled. Privacy's no crime. But something felt deeper. No one obsesses over keys without bigger motives. One afternoon, Barbara showed up unannounced with 2 board members, blocking my porch like enforcers. We need your keys now, she demanded. I stood firm. No, and that's final. Her face tightened. You're complicating things. Compliance is required. Not per the documents, I said coolly. She looked slapped. The board members fidgeted. Barbara leaned in, breath minty and furious. You don't want to lose privileges here. Privileges? I own my law and my home. She stormed off, tossing, uncooperative folks often find this neighborhood unfit. A clear threat. That night, I pored over every HOA paper. Comparing updates to originals, I spotted it. Mismatched formatting, odd punctuation, and notary stamp from a retired official. Barbara hadn't bent rules. she'd faked them. Not just a bully, but a forger who thought her letterhead made lies law. She didn't want keys. She wanted control. Refusing was war in her eyes, and she was ramping up. Once I held firm, Barbara didn't back down. She waged a smear war. The next newsletter, Community Safety Concerns, bullet-pointing refusals endangering all. No names, but obvious. The air shifted overnight. Mrs. Jenkins, always waving, suddenly avoided me. A dad nodded stiffly. The retiree across the street stared suspiciously. Barbara was priming the pump for punishment. A week later, an envelope taped to my door. Non-compliance fee, $150 weekly until keys provided. I laughed. Not funny, but arrogant. HOAs can't invent fines. They need bylaws, votes. Barbara had none. I replied, invalid fines. Requirement illegal. Enforcement is harassment. Her response, refusal noted. Board proceeds. Barbara thrived on assuming silence meant guilt. Confidence meant power. My calm rejections fueled her rage. Soon, cars lingered outside. Strangers snapped photos. A real estate card under my mat. Thinking of selling? I wasn't, but someone plotted for me. Dread set in. Barbara wasn't bullying. She was crafting a narrative. Unsafe, uncooperative, to justify seizure. She returned with her entourage, stepping forward like she owned my air. Last chance for keys voluntarily. I crossed arms. No. Her jaw clenched. Escalation follows. Barbara, I said evenly, you lack authority. She snapped. I decide HOA power. Documents do. I countered. Her face twisted. You make this difficult. Underminers face unexpected consequences. Board members shifted uneasily. Even they sensed the villainy. Threat? I asked. Interpret as you wish, she flung, storming off. It clicked. Shame to take my home. I spread documents, spotting fakes everywhere. Fonts off, signatures pasted, stamps mismatched. The key rule? Forged. Barbara's delusion drove her to crime. I documented obsessively, screenshots, backups. But she pressed on. 2 weeks later, a stranger on my lawn with an HOA polo. Fake, snapping pics of locks, gates. He bolted when I noted his SUV's VIN. Footage showed reconnaissance. My email demanding answers got. Inspections authorized under safety clause. No such clause. Barbara plotted. Smear, fake rules, violations, force access or removal. She had my home. Panic? No focused anger. I analyzed, prepared, built my case. She thought she alone plotted. Soon, her biggest blunder would pull in police, exposing all. She was committed, backing out impossible. Her next move, email, amended rules, sloppy PDF announcing keys mandatory, refusal leading to fines, liens, foreclosure. Jump from safety to theft. Layout wrong. Terms TV legal. Signature copy-pasted. I highlighted discrepancies, sent to my real estate attorney friend. His reply, illegal as hell. Keep everything. Barbara faked an emergency meeting. No notice, no quorum. Then claimed unanimous approval in the digest. Bored? Her puppets. One absent post-surgery. She invented votes. Strangers documented my property. Vest guy photographing fence. Jogger filming driveway. Teen sketching. Building a dangerous file. I fortified. More cameras, daily photos, triple backups. Quiet weeks passed. Too quiet. Then, envelope and door. $2,700 fines owed. Non-payment lien, foreclosure. Bottom, my forged signature. Shaky scribble. Crime. Called attorney. Fraud. Prosecutable. Next day, county alert. Lien attempt on my property. Clerk flagged it. Off signatures, dead notary stamp. Evening, air tensed. Barbara cornered, would double down. Morning proved it. Barbara marching with board, clipboard thick. She dialed 911, gesturing wildly. I watched via camera. Lie ready. She claimed ownership. Minutes later, cruisers arrived, lights flashing. Neighbors gawked. Barbara waved papers triumphantly. Officers approached warily. I opened before knock. Older cop. Resident. Owner, I said. Barbara shrieked. No. He's squatting. I foreclosed. Documents prove. Younger cop blinked. I sighed. See the deed. Barbara shoved fakes. Amendments, liens, toddler foot signature. Officers glanced skeptically. Ma'am, HOA filing doesn't. She interrupted. Legal. He refused keys, ground for seizure. Younger. Refusing keys isn't grounds. I invited them in, blocking Barbara. She gasped. But I'm owner. Eyebrow raise sufficed. Inside, table ready. Real deed, taxes, CC and RS. Timeline of emails, footage, comparisons, county fraud alert. Officers went quiet, felony quiet. Footage of confrontations showed my calm, her threats. Older rubbed forehead, civil and criminal mess. Outside, Barbara paced, yelling lies. Officers approached. Her triumph faded to panic. She denied, thrust papers, ignored. Radio call. She froze, backed up. Shouts to whines to silence. They returned. Fraud case. Detective follows. Barbara lingered, deflated, scared. She'd hunted, now hunted. Days post police, eerie quiet. Barbara vanished from patrols, emails. But she regrouped. Evening, tire tracks on lawn, shadow crouching with device, documenting. Morning emails, petty hazards like leaf and gutter, demanding inspection. I refused access. She doubled down. Days later, SUV pulls up, fake compliance, guy tries knob, flashes parking pass as ID. I recorded. Trespassing. Leave. Ush. He fled angrily. Night. Certified letter. Fake violation notice. Dreading secure property. Panic? Realization. How far she'd go. Thuds at fence. Hooded figures peering. Access check. Printed transition plan. HOA sees home. Reassign. Change locks. Remove occupant. Attachment. MLS draft with interior photos. Trespass for them. Price. Bargain for transfer. Theft. Compile dossier for investigator. Morning notification. Investigator Ramirez wants meeting at my house. He arrived early, sharp-eyed, folder in hand. Mr. Anderson, lien fraud report? Attempted, failed, bad forgeries. Faint smile. Table evidence impressed. Case file already. Walked through fakes, liens, listings. He exhaled. Theft, harassment. Notary? Dead woman seal, scanned old. Criminal charges possible. Physical entry? Not yet, but building. False reporting too. He'd interview her. Shift happened. Post-visit, Barbara's mass email. Accusing me of lies, threats, instability, urging reports on my address. Inbox flooded. Some neighbors questioned. Texts, anonymous threats. Side camera, gate tug. Driveway filming. Witch hunt. Morning. Handwritten vacate notice, her script. Forwarded Ramirez. Afternoon. Barbara with board on walkway. Unfit to reside. HOA decides. I cut. Documents to investigator tomorrow. She screeched. You reported me? Board backed away. Regret this. She stormed, yelling not over. Hour later, Ramirez call. Interviewed her. Uncooperative, presented fakes. Active investigation. Relief, but anticipation. She detonated. Evening, black sedan watches house. Morning, fake condemned sticker, felony impersonation. Voices in yard. Hooded men with crowbar, bolt cutters. Blasted speaker. Recorded. Leave. They fled. Footage to Ramirez. On way. Doorbell. Polished woman. Real estate consultant. Home. In transition. Private offer. Packet. Illegal photos. Fake orders. Memo from Barbara on removal. All illegal. Source under investigation. She fled wide-eyed. Packet emailed. Involving market. Ramirez, stay inside. Then Barbara pounded door, screaming. Open. You can't stop me. Through speaker. Leave. Investigator coming. Panic no. I make rules. County SUV arrived. Ramirez, step away. She hissed accusations. Officers approached. She bolted, caught. Scream. He ruined me. But my house. Arrest rippled. Neighbors whispered, shocked. Barbara ruled by fear, now exposed. Ramirez, charges fraud, forgery, false reporting, trespassing, attempted seizure. Restraining order likely. Handled well. Cyber criminals prep me. Board knocked nervously, didn't know. Flinched at truths. Removing her. She removed herself. They left promising trust restoration. Evening, neighbors apologized. Sorry, believed her. Mrs. Jenkins ashamed. Retiree. Thank you for stopping her. Handshake firm. Street exhaled, freer. DA packet. Charges list endless. Afternoon. Chaotic Zoom meeting. Board excuses met riots in chat. Resignations, restructure vote. Weeks to hearing. Calm returned. Gossip on Barbara's binders. HOA sessions with emojis. Desperate. Neighbors attended. Barbara deflated. Whispering to regretful attorney. Judge entered. Whispers died. Defense. Misunderstanding overzealous. Judge snapped. Fraudulent lien? Forgery? Misled police. My testimony. Timeline. Fakes. Plans. Listing. Judge's brows rose. Barbara sobbed. He was danger. Protect neighborhood. By stealing. Judge sharp. Diligence prevented injustice. Judge engaged in fraud, forgery. Bail, but no return. Oakwood healed. No more fear. Barbara's reign ended. Justice served. What do you think about the violence and injustice in everyday life, like power abuses in communities? Share your opinions in the comments. Take a stand and voice your views.